blowing up like we running the game. Hip-hop roots, we douse it in flame. Fresh content coming at you every week. Stay for the laugh, the wisdom, the street. Got something for everyone, sizzle and pop. Unfiltered vibes, we never gonna stop. Engage with the crew, let your voice be heard. Tune in always, spread the word. Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live. Stay connected, watch the magic unfold. Members unite, let's strike gold. Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live. Stay connected, watch the magic unfold. Members unite, let's strike gold. Welcome to the channel, it's Vicky Marie. Spitting out the flavor, making history. Subscribers rolling in, family feels fresh. Jump into the vibe, leave the comments, no stress. From street talks to makeup, we cover it all. Chopping up the beats, making big moves, y'all. Urban queen, got the rhythm in her veins. Flow so tight, never stepping out of lanes. Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live. Stay connected, watch the magic unfold.
Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Got to get my songs all uploaded again. It's a bit, I lost them, didn't I? I haven't lost them, I've still got them. But I lost the videos that I put to them, but I've still got them. And I'm going to put some videos together. I know I keep saying I will. But life overtakes everything, doesn't it? You get up in the morning, you have all the plans. Today is Monday, wasn't it? Get up, think, this is what I'm going to do today. You're all organised and boom, it all goes to pot. So you lose the time, don't you, to do the things you want to do. But it's good, at least I'm here. I got through the day. And it was, it wasn't the best day, but it turned out to be a good day. And I'm here talking to you guys. So, and also we've got good news. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit giddy tonight because, we've got this good news about David or Burke. I want to call him Burke. That's his real name, isn't it? David Burke, and he is a Burke. About David being finally charged with the red rum of this young girl, Celeste Rivas. And finally, some justice is coming for Celeste. And this has took a long time. So yeah, feeling a bit giddy tonight. I've got a vino because I don't have to drive. I've already picked up my son. So I can have a drinky poo if I want to, a bit of a celebration. I mean, it's obviously still terrible, this David being arrested, and even if he gets, found guilty, even if he gets the DEATH penalty, which is on the table for him, it's not going to bring this young girl back. So it's cold comfort for a family, of course, but it's some comfort. I don't know how her family must have coped all this time, nearly a year, really, not far off a year, 8 months or so, since this poor girl was found deceased and, violated in every way you can imagine, her remains. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Anyway, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to watch the press conference together. Now, I've seen a bit of it. I watched, I've not had a chance to watch it, but I did watch a little bit of it. I was very impressed with what I saw just at the beginning. But some of it we'll be watching together, like for the first time. I haven't seen it all the way through. I expect the police feel good, that they finally lined up their ducks in a row, if you like, so that they can charge him and know that they can take it successfully through to conviction. That'll be what they're hoping for, of course. So yeah, it's good. It's good to get some resolution in a case, something. So many of the cases that we're following, missing people like Jack and Lily, they haven't been found yet. Gus Lamont hasn't been found yet. And then Nancy Guthrie has not been found yet. So to actually have somebody charged, finally, I mean, Celeste was not missing for very long, was she? Because sadly, Celeste, because of her, I don't even want to say lifestyle, because I don't really know what her lifestyle was, but she was described as a troubled teen who had run away from home before. So it makes you wonder, maybe the police didn't take it that seriously to begin with, because she was missing for a little while before she was discovered in the Tesla of this famous singer David, right on the cusp of international stardom. I like to refer to him as a pound shop Diddy, because he would be annoyed with that. That's why it's not disrespect to Celeste, it's disrespect to David, who I've got nothing but contempt for. So yeah, there he is, this famous singer, a lot older than her, because she was 13, 14 years old. Not sure exactly how old she was when they got together, but he was a grown man. And he's this, I like to describe him as a sort of pseudo intellectual as well. He's a person who thinks he's so clever when he's talking, and his songs are sort of esoteric, sort of well, garbage in my eyes, but a lot of people like them. He was popular. He was popular amongst young people. He was getting more and more famous every day. And it seems from what's come out in the press conference, this is a factor in what happened to Celeste. So we'll find out all of it, of course, when it finally comes to the trial, which I'm not sure when that will be. But yeah, some of the things that are said in this press conference, very, very interesting. Very interesting, the way that things are phrased. This is going to be bad. Like all murders are bad, of course they are, but this is going to be really dark. I think the reasons behind it, just cold, calculating. Not a crime of passion, even. Just like somebody getting in his way of his stardom, and he wasn't having it. So he removed this girl. It seems like, allegedly, he removed her because she was a threat to his career. So anyway, we're going to watch the press conference together. First of all, I just want to say my thank yous. Thank you to everybody for watching, for liking, subscribing. Thank you so much to my members, to those of you who've bought Ko-fis and things. That's so generous and so nice, and just the way things have been lately, it's especially appreciated. What else? Oh, hello, my lovely lurkers. I hope you're all well. Hello to Replay Crew. I hope you're well too. Thank you everyone for caring about Celeste, because Celeste is the important person here, isn't she? She is. I hope Celeste is smiling. Now, the thing about Celeste that I've noticed when I've seen pictures of her, now, she's like a typical young girl in lots of ways, lots of photos of her available, but she always looks very enigmatic, sad. I've described her as like a Mona Lisa type. She's not like big smiles like a lot of girls, young girls of her age, on their social media. To me, Celeste, she always looks a bit reserved, a bit. She'll have a slight smile, but she's never sort of real big smile. You know, she does remind me a lot of this sort of Mona Lisa type person. You know, was she happy? I hope she had some happy times in her short life. She probably had a lot of happy times with David. Um, you know, sadly, she probably thought, oh my God, I mean, it's easy for a man like him to turn a young girl's head, isn't it? And I hope she was happy in the time she had with him at least, because this girl, she's not having, you know, her life's over before it's even begun. She's not even properly a woman yet, you know, 13, 14 years old. She's just on the threshold of womanhood and all the things, you know, good and bad that the womanhood brings. She'll never have children, she won't get married, you know, those kind of things. That makes it especially sad, I think. Anyway, I'm going to see if anybody's in the chat. Say hello to anybody who's in the chat. Hi, Marg. Marg's about to drive as usual. Oh, I hope you're well, Marg. Suppose it's morning time, isn't it? Down under. Hi, Darren. Yeah, thank you for caring about Celeste. So let's just recap very briefly what happened. So Celeste went missing. This is in the Hollywood Hills area. She went missing. And then one day in you know, one of those places where cars are towed away to, what do we call them? I can't bring the name to mind. What the workers, the people who work there, they could smell this terrible smell coming from a Tesla that had been towed, was inappropriately parked, I think, and I mean, you know, it's like this David one. He's like thinks he's so clever, but he's the absolute thicko. So he's left his car with a corpse in the front, you know, in the front trunk of the car. The car registered to him is abandoned in the street. Did he think it was going to get towed and crushed? Or did he just not think? You know, I mean, where's his brains at? Anyway, when they called the police, the people who worked in the yard where all the cars were that get towed away by the police, they rang the police and said there's a terrible smell coming from this car. The police came and poor Celeste was in there. But not only her body, you know, and I don't want to go into graphic details, but it'd also been, how can you put it in a way that you'll understand? You know, it wasn't, you know, it was in different parts, let's put it that way. It wasn't whole, it'd been desecrated. So not only red-wronged, this young girl, but also her body desecrated. And that'll be an extra charge, I presume, that David will have. Of course, we don't know, you know, he's innocent till he's proven guilty. Just want to make that clear. Also, we don't know if he had any help or whether it is just him. I think only he's been arrested so far. I don't think anyone else has been arrested as far as I know. So, you know, I don't know if any of his... Now, don't forget, he was just about to do this huge tour, not only of America, but of Europe. He was coming to Spain. For those of you who don't know, I'm based in Spain, in Europe. He was coming here, you know, he literally was. I mean, I think he was already quite famous and he was already doing quite well for himself, if you like, but he was on the verge. So although, you know, as I say, I describe him as a pound shop Diddy, maybe he was on the verge of becoming, you know, more than a pound shop Diddy, becoming a Diddy, a full-blown Diddy. Well, we know what happened to Diddy, don't we? Did he do it? You know, sorry. Just, you know, my sense of humour sometimes, maybe it's not appropriate, but you know, in the true crime world, sometimes if you didn't laugh, really cry. And you know, I actually feel quite happy time. It sounds awful. Obviously, I'm not happy that Celeste is deceased. I'm happy that this man looks like he's going to face. He's going to face justice. He's going to face the majority of his peers. They're going to if he's not. As a result of the evidence that the police provide, the police has gone to great pains to collect the evidence together in this case to make it a watertight conviction. And in the meantime, everyone's been, why hasn't he been arrested yet, including me? All of us frustrated. Why has he not been arrested? All these months going by. It was his car after all. She was his girlfriend after all. You know, it seems like a slam dunk case, doesn't it? But of course, clever defense lawyers can get even the most guilty of people off if the police, if they see a chink in the police's armour, something they didn't do right, a warrant they didn't get properly, or something that was released to the press that should never have been released, and it comes up, you know, with the jury or something in the case. You know, the police's first responsibility, of course, is to the victim and the family, but their responsibility is to make sure they build the case, you know, ethically, properly, you know, in a way that it cannot be, you know, thrown out because of technicalities, etc., when it comes to court. And so that's what the police will tell us in this press conference, that's what they were trying to do, make sure everything was, what's the word, everything was done properly. Okay, so let's hope they have done that. What the press conference I have watched, I do feel that perhaps they have done it right, but anyway. I've got my vape here. I call it my vape. You know, I've been so stressed that really this year since January, the world's gone even madder, hasn't it, with one thing and another, and just in general life. And I call it my vape, but it's actually, there's nothing in it, believe it or not. And this is one that number one son had finished, but you can still, you get like the feeling that you're smoking something, but I'm like Bill Clinton, I never inhale. Though I do think it's probably not good for your throat, but Joe, the thing is, I gave up smoking years ago now. I'm not going to start smoking that. I don't like the smell of smoke anymore, or I don't like the feeling. I did try after the war broke out. I did try to smoke a cigarette. I thought, oh God, I may as well smoke and drink. It's going to be World War III anyway. But I just didn't like it. But I found that I quite like this. Just feels like smoking. Gosh, that's joking. But of course I'm not, and I'm not inhaling like Bill Clinton. Hi Amethyst, long time no see. I hope you're well. I hope everything's going okay for you. I don't know if you're in Spain at the moment, because of course you do come to Spain quite a lot, don't you? It's beautiful weather at the moment. So if you're not here, you need to get here pretty quick, because it is, after a terrible winter that we've had, really, really horrible winter. My electricity bill was, you know, just on another planet. We finally got our proper weather back. Okay, so, let's have a look at this picture of Berkey. Berkey, that's what I'm going to call him, because I don't think he would like that. He wouldn't like being called Pound Shop Diddy, and he wouldn't like being called Berkey. Oh my God, this man. You know, I know a lot of young people think he's great. And obviously I'm not a young person. I'm an old person, but I just look at him and I just see pretentious. So if you look at the picture on the left, that's when I think he was on He must have been on the cover of that was Variety. There he is in his mum's blouse or his grandma's blouse, one or the other. You know, they're looking all sort of like his Harry Styles look. Then on the right hand side, of course, you've got him with his sideshow Bob look, you know, and that to me is how he strikes me. Looks evil. I don't know. There's something very evil about this man, and you can see it especially in that picture on the right. Anyway, his picture in the middle, that is his mugshot. That is his photo when he was arrested. He looks scared, I think, on that picture. Like I think on the first picture in his grandma's blouse, he looks pretentious. On the other picture where he's like sideshow Bob, he looks evil. But that picture in the middle where his mugshot, he looks scared, and he should be scared because he knows he's going to prison and he's never coming out. And in fact, if he escapes the DP, he'll be lucky. But he's likely, no, he's a prime candidate for the DP, really, because Celeste was underage. And it seems like they've charged him for murder with special circumstances, like murder for financial gain. And what was the other one? I think I put it in the title. Yeah, lying in wait. That's a strange one, isn't it? So that's like I say they, he, and whoever if he did have an accomplice, it seems like they laid in wait, and that's special circumstances, apparently. You know, so, yeah. Wonder what it is. Financial gain, lying in wait. And there was another thing he says, well, we're going to watch it now anyway. Something like killing a witness to cover up a crime. So what had Celeste seen, maybe? Maybe she'd seen David do something else. She found out about something else he'd done wrong, and she threatened to go to the police, and had this big tour, just about to start this big tour. Maybe he killed Celeste to silence her. But anyway, it'll all come out, won't it? But yeah, it's fun, interesting, really. He does look sort of different you can tell it's him, but he looks different. So you've got his Harry Styles look. In the first one, you've got his sideshow Bob evil look in the one on the right, and then the one in the middle is like the deer in the headlights look. That's the one I like the best. I like to see him looking a bit scared. You know, this guy, he's probably been spoilt his whole life, and now he's going to prison. Well, he's in prison as we speak. He's sat there in prison, and he's in big boys prison, you know, literally. So, you know, how's he going to get on there? I wouldn't imagine, you know, some people, I think for some people, I mean, seriously, if people come off the streets, or they've had a rough upbringing, or they've struggled to sort of make ends meet, or, you know, homeless people, I don't know. Maybe prison's not so bad for them because they get fed, they're looked after, you know, they have a better life in prison than their life on the outside. But not David. David's been cosseted all his life, I would imagine. And, you know, he's, I say, very pretentious. He thinks he's something special. And then he's going to go into prison and find out he's just a member of the general population. So good. Okay, so let's have a look at this news conference. And good, so good, you know, to know that he's finally, you know, looks like some justice is coming here for this poor girl. It is, you know, does feel good. I don't know. I don't know if I can find a family was supposed to release a statement. If I can find that, we'll look at that too. But the most important thing, the first thing that we're going to look at, this is the press conference where the LA County DA announces that he's been charged. with first-degree murder. So let me put it to the beginning. Then I've got to make sure it's sharing. And I need you to let me know if you can hear it, because sometimes the sound doesn't come through for some unknown reason. What's that? Sorry. Right, let's see it. Right, so we watch it together. As I've seen maybe the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of it.
I am announcing charges against David Anthony, spelled D4VD, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, 14-year-old at that time. These charges.
So the brutal and horrific murder, because there was some, some speculation in the beginning, wasn't there? Did she die, of DRUG overdose or something? And then he was panicked, and was he just disposing of the body, but he didn't actually cause physical harm to her? But no, brutal murder, brutal. This guy is very specific in what he says.
Charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstance is lying in wait, committing this crime for financial.
Yeah, so lying at special circumstances, lying in wait, murder for financial gain, and murdering a witness in an investigation. So, wonder what that's all about. Can you hear it okay? Just confirm for me, if you don't mind, someone. Can you hear it okay?
These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Against Mr. Berg, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old, and mutilating a human remains of a body.
Gosh, that was. Let's listen to that again. So that's a lot. Now, I do think he did. I wonder if something went on with poor Celeste, similar to Diddy and what went on in his freak-offs and things. Did they use Celeste for sex? Because there was quite a lot of people lived in that household, wasn't there? Anyway, it just sounds terrible. Poor Celeste. And of course, that all of it is exacerbated because she was a minor.
Without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Berg, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old. Wonderful. And mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Berg, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged. Now, back to this being a parent's nightmare. On April 23rd, 2025, has been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again.
Oh.
On September 8th, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke. Thereafter began an investigation. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LA.
He said there, who killed her months and months before, because it's always been unclear, isn't it, how long she'd been in that Tesla. He said months and months before. Had she been in that car all that time? I mean, you know, is he stupid? So what, how, or was he but just about to move her? Maybe she hadn't been in the car all that time. Maybe she had been in the house for quite a while, and maybe she was in that car because he had decided to move her, and then the car got towed away. But imagine, look, you know, I don't want to tell people how to be a successful murderer and get away with it, but I don't think it's rocket science that if you're trying to dispose of a body, you don't park it in a place where it's going to get, your car's going to get towed away, do you? You know, that's not, you don't have to be Einstein, don't have to be a genius to work that out. But David or somebody, if it wasn't him who actually parked the car there, just park the car somewhere where it would get towed. Now, it's either thick as that, or did he want it to get towed away, and did he think the car would then get crushed? I mean, I don't know what happens when these cars get towed away. Do they break open the car and make sure there's no valuables in it? Because anything could be in there, really, couldn't it? You know, hopefully not a body, but anything could be. Or do they just crush them as they are, you know, and not break open the trunk? Because don't get, she wasn't found because they broke open the trunk for no reason. They smelt this terrible smell. I mean, did David not realise that bodies smell, even if you put them in bags? Again, it's not rocket science, is it? It's not, you know, I know we follow true crime, and so we know that, but doesn't everybody know that? Even people who don't follow true crime, they probably watch detective shows and things like that, you know, murder mysteries and what. They know surely that bodies smell. But I suppose if you watch Miss Marple or something, you never get that, you don't get that gritty reality, do you? Maybe that's David. Maybe you don't, the only crime shows you'd ever watched was Miss Marple or Poirot or Columbo or something.
PD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today. So what you have as well with these charges is that, again, there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances. And again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again.
Oh.
The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatened.
Okay, so did you say the 8th of April? What was that date? So she wasn't found till September, yeah. So I would imagine that they know from phone data that he invited her over to his house.
As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for
just
Mr.
Go back to the date.
Was not wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again.
Oh, yeah.
The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste, and the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
Mm.
I had the chance to meet with some of the family members of Celeste, and their grief is uncalculable as to what happened to their daughter. What they have demanded, what we have assured them that the district attorney's office working with LAPD would give them is the proof beyond a reasonable doubt on who killed their daughter, on how their daughter was killed, when their daughter was killed, and bring that killer to justice. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke. We will have questions after I speak and Chief McDonald speaks. At this point, I invite Chief McDonald to speak.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to begin by expressing my deepest condolences to the parents of Celeste Rivas. No parent or any human being should have to endure what you've gone through. Today, alongside DA Hockman and our partners at the LA County District Attorney's Office, and thanks to the tireless and hard work of our investigators at the LAPD, we're announcing the arrest and prosecution of David Burke for the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas. Throughout the 7-month investigation, this department has failed not to provide details. I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation, discipline on everybody's part.
Now, it's true they've received a lot of criticism because, we as the public, you see this sort of young girl found in somebody's car, deceased, and we think, oh, that's a slam dunk case, doesn't it? It does feel like that. it does feel like it's been a long, long wait for David to be charged. And every now and again it's come up, isn't it, in not only in social media, in all media. Why has David not been charged? And blah, de, blah, de, blah. That's human nature. We want perhaps quick justice. Maybe that's a product of, watching crime shows on the telly, and they're always solved within an hour, aren't they? Even the more true to life ones. And of course, real life isn't like that, because the police, law enforcement in general, as soon as they identify a suspect, the next thing they're thinking about is how we're going to successfully prosecute them. That's their next, and it is better. It is better to wait, even as frustrating as it is, and it must be so frustrating for the families. It's better to wait and do it right than rush into it and do it wrong. So I understand, but it is. I don't think people will ever change. People do want quick answers, especially in this world. We live in a world now where everything's quick, instant. Come on, yeah, I mean, years ago, the thing is now you just get on your phone, you send an instant message, you get a reply. Everything we do, we want it to do it quick. I think we've lost the art of patience in lots of aspects of life. And of course, there are good things about the new technological age we live in, but there are bad things as well. So, probably one bad thing is I do think we've lost the art of patience. Now, if you live in Spain, you do have a lot more patience, because in Spain, nothing ever works quickly. So, but I think in other sort of societies, and especially probably places like America, the UK, places like that, I think in Spain generally people are more patient, but perhaps not in the capital, like in Madrid and places like that. I live sort of more out in the boonies type thing, so country people, well, it's not really out in the country, but do you know what I mean? People in small villages and that, they do tend to have more patience. But yeah, I think as a public, we do want quick answers to everything, don't we? We're used to a quick question and a quick answer. And so the police have took a lot of criticism. Normally the case takes longer than a week to solve. We get sort of antsy about it, don't we?
This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain that nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case. Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23rd, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8th, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Forward. Our investigators face an extraordinary, difficult, and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death. The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared. And as detectives worked to uncover the truth, they also had to sift through and debunk a great deal of false information circulating publicly. These challenges were real, and they required patience, precision, and an unwavering commitment to the facts. Despite these obstacles, and despite intense public pressure, our Robbery Homicide Division detectives remained steadfast in their duties. They recovered and analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence. They stayed focused, disciplined, and committed to uncovering the truth. Their work, in close collaboration with the District Attorney's Office, has brought us to this moment today. I want to thank the District Attorney and his team, as always, for their partnership. This case demanded coordination, persistence, and a shared commitment to justice. Also, thank you to our media partners for showing up today and for sharing this important message with the public. And finally, to Ms. Rivas's family, we cannot undo the pain you are feeling. Our hope is that today brings some measure of accountability and a step in the journey toward healing. Please know that the Los Angeles Police Department remains fully committed to seeking justice on behalf of your daughter. Thank you.
So at this point, we'll take questions.
Anything more you can tell us about the fact that she was a witness in the coming investigation, that she reported the abuse, who was doing that investigation?
The details of the allegations that have made, particularly with that special circumstance, will be produced in court.
Do you believe the difficulty it was to determine both the matter of cause and date?
So with respect to the coroner's report, we will be seeking quite quickly to provide an order to the court that now allows the coroner to release that report to the public.
Between the finding of the body.
Yeah, because that forensic report was sealed, wasn't it? So we didn't really get the forensic report, but he says it's going to be released to the public. So they obviously kept it quiet while they were investigating into David. I wonder if Celeste, Celeste's just a young girl, isn't she? And she probably thought David was in love with her, and and there he was, sort of already sort of pretty famous, and he was going to get even more famous. Maybe she thought she'd be going on this tour with him, But of course, David probably had different ideas. He's thinking he's going to get any woman he wants now, now that he's getting famous. Maybe he made it clear to Celeste, you're not coming on this tour with me. And so Celeste got annoyed and said, I'm going to tell everybody about our relationship. And then David, idiot that he is, twonk that he is, he didn't think when he started a relationship with a 13-year-old girl, he didn't think that maybe he might get into trouble for that. It's like, again, it's not rocket science, is it? You can't say that, I didn't know that. I didn't realise you weren't supposed to go out with 13-year-old girls. Oh my God, what a shocker. He obviously knew that he's not supposed to go out with 13-year-old girls as a grown man. Even I don't think even 13-year-old boys are allowed to have SCX with 13-year-old girls, are they? I don't know how that works. If that ever comes up in court, I'm not saying they never do it. What I'm saying is I don't think it's legally allowed. For 13-year-olds in general, just to have SCX, whether they do or not, but certainly not for, he's a grown man. Just didn't he realise? He thinks he's so clever. He's writing all these pseudo-intellectual songs, romantic homicide and all that crappy, absolute load of, to me, I just look at the things he says. I've watched his interviews. I've listened to the lyrics of his songs, and I just think, pretentious, pseudo-intellectual, just, wouldn't do it for me at all. But, I'm a lot older than him, obviously. Maybe when I was 13, maybe I would have, I'm just trying to think who I liked when I was 13. It was probably David Cassidy. But he, to be fair to David Cassidy, he never wrote songs like that. You know what I mean? It's just like David should have known that if he's as clever as he thinks he is, which obviously he isn't, he should have known he's not supposed to have an affair. He should not suddenly decide when he realises he's about to go on a European tour. Oh, hang on a minute. I've been going out with this 13-year-old girl. What am I going to do about that? Oh, I think I'll murder her, cut her up, put her in the front of my car and let my car be towed away. He is a complete thicko, this man.
Body or her remains. Why has it taken so long for an arrest to be made?
I think the police chief got it right. That in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, doing over the last between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's a type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that has material information about this particular murder or any other actions taken by Mr. Burke, please come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, come forward to the LA County D's office, and report that information.
Mr. Hawkins, I mean, there are people who are in relationship. Is it possible that you will be arrested?
Yeah, that's interesting. Did his entourage know that Celeste was younger? She did, you know, be fair, she did look old. She does look older. You know, maybe, what is the legal age? I'm not sure what the legal age in America is. It's 16 or 18. I wouldn't say, although I mean, maybe these are not good. These are not good photos. I wouldn't say she looked 18, but maybe 16. I don't know, older than 13, perhaps. You know, a lot of young girls do look older, but that's no excuse, of course. Because what you should be doing, as far as David's concerned, he knew how old she was. I think he's deliberately picked. He used to pick her up from school, for God's sake. So he definitely knew that she was underage. He's not going to be able to claim that he didn't know. Now, what his friends are going to claim, you know, I don't know, because that surely is going to be a question that's asked of them. You know, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because, you know, if your friend, like that, you know, a male friend or a female friend, because it can go the other way, sort of turned up at your house with their girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and it was clear, you know, that they were significantly younger, wouldn't you say to them, hang on a minute, you know, what you're doing, this person is too young? You would say something, would you? I don't know. It's a very difficult question. You know, I found out about something a couple of years ago that I hadn't known about. Well, I'll talk about that maybe in another video. I still feel uncomfortable about it now. You know, I found out that a friend of a friend anyway, I'm not going to talk about it now, but I found out about it. But the trouble is, I didn't find out about it till much later. You know, they had a relationship. This was a friend of mine. It was his friend's stepdaughter. Now, I only met her once. She was only 11 when I met her. And then years later, I found out he married her when she got to 18. And my friend said to me, well, actually, yeah, there's been something going on between them since she was 11. So when I went, what, when I met her, they were already having a relationship. And he went, yeah. And it's like, but by now this girl was 18 and they were getting married. It was a weird, I just didn't know. I thought, what am I supposed to do here? You know, like, because I didn't even know them that well, really, or I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they were having a wedding, big wedding, all out in the open, and so, you know, what do you do then? But of course, I didn't know at the time. When I met her, I had no idea that something was going on. In fact, he came over because he had his ex-girlfriend, her mother, had a big drug problem. So he came over as like the bloody, he took on her kids, you know, because she couldn't look after him. But of course, it turned out then he was actually having a relationship with the daughter, or he ended up having a relationship with the daughter. But then, as soon as she got old enough, he married her. So that, you know, these sort of things. So I've forgotten what I was saying now. Oh yeah. So if you had a friend who brought someone home as their girlfriend, and they were clearly a lot younger than them, surely you'd have to say something. You know, or did David, because David, he was quite famous and he had all these hangers on probably, would they dare to say anything to him? I don't know. Just tell you what, there's a lot of it out there, I think.
Did he act alone in this death?
Again, with respect to whether or not there's any other individuals or we're going to take any other actions, you will know about them if we do, but at this point, I'm not commenting.
Do you believe that you know how she was killed beyond it being homicide? The actual cause of death?
The coroner's report will be released shortly. Because it is not currently released, I'm not going to be commenting.
So was it determined, not that, if you won't say what it was, but has it been determined how she was killed beyond it being homicide?
The coroner has made a determination on how Celeste died, and at the point that the coroner's report becomes public, we'll be able to comment.
Was there a specific breakthrough last week? Is there physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
So within your investigation, and just to his question, are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is? And also, if you can address the issue of his visit to Santa Barbara, and that, how does it connect with the murder?
So with respect to the actual details of the evidence we're going to be presenting in court, I'm not going to do that today. As far as the concept of a smoking gun, the smoking gun is the totality of the evidence that we're going to bring to prove any case, whether it's this case or any case, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Is there any evidence that you've used other underage girls that being investigated?
An investigation is ongoing. If information comes forward on any with respect to any additional crimes, we will certainly investigate it.
One more question. One more. There's been so much discussion about the difficulties in this case, and Chief talked about it as well. What makes you confident you can prove these allegations?
What makes us confident is the total robbery homicide by the work that the district attorney's office has done that has led us to the point where we believe we can prove each and every one of these three charges and the special circumstances and the special allegation beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay, so I think that's it, isn't it? Well, as always, let me know what you think. I mean, it's good news, of course, that he's been charged. It's very sad. Obviously, the whole case is sad, but at least David's been charged. Let's have another look at him, at his mugshot. I do take great pleasure in looking at his mugshot. As I say, so you've got him on the left there with his Harry Styles look, on the right with his Sideshow Bob evil look, and in the middle you've got deer in the headlights. Oh my God, I'm absolutely effed look. When he finally got arrested, I wonder what he's been thinking, you know, all this time. Did he really think he was going to get away with it? I wonder. He couldn't, surely. I've thought, wouldn't he have been better to just give himself up and, you know, come over at least as someone who did the decent thing? But, you know, he's evil, isn't he? He is evil. So I suppose he was never going to do that. But these months, although, you know, they've been torture for her family, won't have been easy for him, will they, really? Because, and I suppose he's been saying to his family, oh no, I didn't do it. Oh no. You know, well, you can tell that I didn't do it because if I would have done it, they would have arrested me by now. Can you imagine it, can't you? And I feel a bit for his family. His family probably will stick up for him until they realise when the evidence comes out, just like with Rex Human's family or many murderers' families. Initially, they sort of try and support their loved one, don't they? And say, because they've, he's probably told his mum and his siblings or whoever, whatever family he's got, oh, no, definitely, I would never have done this. You know me. I'm not capable of something like this. And his family probably would have thought, no, our David, he couldn't, our Berkey boy, he couldn't possibly have done anything like this. But sooner or later, when all the evidence comes out and that, they will find out that, in fact, yes, he did do it. And allegedly, probably. And that will be difficult for them as well. So I do spare a thought for them as well. But of course, the main thoughts we spare are for Celeste and her family. And yeah, but looks like they are at least going to get some justice. So anyway, okay, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget, leave your DNA on the like button. And thank you for leaving your fingerprint on the subscribe button. Don't forget to do that if you haven't done it yet. Now, I will be reporting on this case more, but I just wanted to show you the press conference. And yeah, it goes on to the list of the cases that we're covering, but at least this is a case that has got some resolution, and that's good. Just hope it follows through now right to the end and he gets exactly what he deserves, whether it be life without parole or the death penalty. I'm not a believer in the death penalty, but sometimes you just think, why not? But anyway, no, I don't really think that. It's probably better that he suffers in prison, isn't it? So, yeah. Okay, thank you. Take care of yourselves, because you are the most important person. Remember, you can't help anybody else unless you're okay. So it's important, to look after yourself first. Treat yourself, eat that bar of chocolate, drink that bottle of wine, have a pedicure, have a manicure, go and eat something nice. Okay, I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you.